welcome to A Bevy of Beavens. I'm Mel Bevan and this is my channel. I just thought today I'd share a little bit about something we do when we homeschool, and it's called Gameschooling. And that's just a term, a way of saying incorporating games into our school life. So we have games that are sorted by subject, topic. We also have games that are related to nothing but are simply fun. So I thought I'd share a little bit about Gameschooling with you, what we do, and I'd show you our science games. You can see a little bit behind you, but I'll show you them individually soon. So we are a game-loving family, and Gameschooling is a term used on the internet. You can Google it and find out different things about Gameschooling. But there are so many benefits of having games into your school life. It's a way of learning turn-taking and consideration, how to be a good sport, how to be a good winner. So those sort of things are kind of just in general games. We find though that you can add fun games in, and they just really help kind of cement some of the facts I've learned. We've got a few trivial games and things like that, and the kids love just learning facts about a topic we might have been studying. So some of the games that we have aren't directly related to a topic, or some are just kind of loosely related, and we've got a couple of loosely related science ones that I'm going to show you that are just more fun, but it gives the kids a little bit of a break. If we're having a bit of a hard day, we can put out a game, we can sit around, chat and laugh together and spend some really nice quality time together. So we have a huge selection of games that we play as a family. They're called our strategy games, and they're in our games room. And by huge I mean like 300. We have a huge, and that doesn't include school games. So that's so we love games. We love spending time with our kids. That's how we enjoy our spare time. And so that would just naturally overflow into our school life, where I wanted to teach something or just break down the reading. We do a lot, as I talked about previously, we do morning baskets, and we spend a lot of time reading, and which the kids love and enjoy, but it's nice to add something fun into the mix. So that's where Gameschooling comes for us. So I will do videos of different subjects. So today we're looking at science, but we also have games that cover language, or English if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, games that cover mathematics, history, geography, you name it. We probably have a game for logic games. We think they're really important. They do develop critical thinking skills, and we think that's a great place to start as well. And logic games can be done by themselves, so a child can sit and do it by themselves, master that one particular puzzle, and then move on to the next one. So that's one way we love logic puzzles as well. We also have a lot of normal puzzles. Once again, they teach really good skills on teaching children how to see part of a picture and make a whole picture, make connections, those logical skills. So that's Gameschooling in a nutshell. You can Google it. Encourage you to do so and find out a little bit more about it. Some people have huge collections and amazing games and ideas. In New Zealand, we can't get games very easily, especially necessarily school-related topics like geography or things like that. So lots of our games I've imported. You can find certain games. It's just obviously we're a small island, and so we don't manufacture a lot of these things, so it's a bit harder for us to get hold of them. But we still have a huge collection. Like, as you can see, this is science, and this is only one subject, and science is probably one of my smaller collections. So I'm going to bring the camera over and give you a bit more of a look. So this is our collection of science games. We do have a couple of others, but they kind of cross over into other things. I've left out some of the animal games as well because, well, we just didn't have enough room on my table. But this is our general science collection. So I will give you a bit more of a closer view of them. I'll open the boxes up in a moment. We have a couple of games of Flux. We have a couple of like trivia type games. We have some Professor Noggins, some Bachelor Science games, card line games or timeline games, some bingo, matching pairs, and Dr. Beaker and Dr. Eureka, which are very loosely science. They're actually logic games, but they're kind of fun. So I'll show you them a bit more up close. So this is Dr. Beaker, and this is a logic game, but it's got a science theme to it. So we put it in our science collection because it's very fun. So in Dr. Beaker, everybody gets this little beaker, as you can see. It's very cool. And it has little balls in it. So you can actually just spin the balls around. And the aim is you have to get all the little balls into this, this pattern. And the first person to get the pattern wins the card. And so that's Dr. Beaker. Like I said, it's not really science, it's more logic, but it's kind of fun, and the kids love it. Use beakers, so we consider it science. So this is Dr. Eureka, and it's in the same series as Dr. Beaker. And in this one, you've got to mix the molecules and master the formula. So once again, you have a card that tells you what you need to do to win the game. And everyone starts off with their test tubes, like this. So with each colour, individually in each thing. And you have to tip them. So you have to tip one, or well, two, sorry, and try and get maybe a pretty good one. It's very hard to do it left-handed, sorry. And you have to make the formula or the pattern that's shown, and the first person who does it wins the card. And then we play for maybe 3 cards or 5 cards, depending on who I'm playing with. So this is called Dr. Eureka. Once again, it's not a science game, but it's really fun. And we add it to our science collection because sometimes days just need to have a bit of fun and laughter. The next games I thought I'd show you are these Bachelor Science games. Now, Bachelor Science do really cool books, like really simple explanation of scientific ideas and English ideas, I think, and maybe even maths, but we like the science ones. So we have these 3 little games. One's biology, one's astronomy, and one's chemistry. In each game, you get 3 little pieces, although I think this is maybe from biology, but you get, this is a supernova, and this is liquid. But here are these little tokens, and each player takes one. They're just a little fun token. You divide the pile of cards, and you each get, I think it's 7 cards. And the aim of the game is that you're playing just 1 card each turn, and the person who wins the round wins. Is you're just playing to win 1 round. So someone might play a 5, and someone might play a 6. And on a 5 and a 6, 5 says swap this card with your opponent's card, and 6 says cancels your opponent's ability. So 5 goes first because it's lowest, and so it would swap that card, and then it would play, and then it would play 6 and win the game because 6 is higher than 5. So it's very simple. You can get expansions for it, which add more cards. We find you need the expansions, but they're quite hard to find, especially for us in New Zealand. So we just kind of play with what they are. You could mix them up too, and play all of the sciences together. We don't tend to, but you can. So that's the Bachelor Science games. So this is a series called Flux. And in this game, the very simple rules, you take 1 card and you play 1 card. And you can have new rule cards. And this new rule says you've got a hand limit of 4. So you can keep 4 in your hand instead of only 2. The aim of the game is that you have a goal. So this goal is that you want to make a natural gas with carbon and hydrogen. So then you have to find these keeper cards. And this is a hydrogen keeper card. And this is a carbon keeper card. And when you have them both played out, you win the game. So Flux is very simple, but it has some really cool, interesting little facts about chemistry. So we quite like that. We also have Nature Flux. And in my previous video, you would have seen that we have Maths Flux as well. So Flux is quite a nice little game, a nice filler. So this next game's are matching games, but these are the most beautiful matching games we have. They come in a whole different variety of animals and things, and you can get a bingo variety as well. So on this particular one, this is the butterflies one, which we use when we're doing an insect kind of study or just for fun, is you are matching the inside wings of the butterfly to the outside wings of the butterfly. And they're just the most stunning pictures. Like, it's just beautiful. And if you do watercolour painting, you could even use these cards as your inspiration to do that sort of thing with your kids. It comes with, this is a beautiful little booklet. So you don't actually have to know all the information about what butterfly to match with what. It actually just tells you. And it gives you some really cool information about the butterflies as well. So this is probably one of our favourite peer games. It's a little bit more challenging, especially for the older children, because you're actually not just matching simple pictures, you're thinking about whether they go together. We also have birds, and we have trees. I haven't got trees out, but I've got trees as well, and that matches leaves to tree. Birds matches males to female, and that's really cool. The kids love seeing that if males and female birds are quite different. So this is game is called Science Safari by Creatives. We source this from the UK, but I'm sure you can get it in other places. And this is just a fun little game talking about habitats and animals and all sorts of science things. So you roll the dice move that many spaces, and then answer the question. So the I is a look question. So then it's like a classification card. So you'd look at this card which says, which of these is not an omnivore? And then you might also ask, name the animals. If you have a younger child, you might just ask them to name the animals. So that's a look card. And then the other ones have cards with questions. So like paw print might say, what do we call cold-blooded animals with a backbone and dry, scaly skin? And then the habitat one is, why do we count to verify the age of a tree? So that's plants and things. And the other one is the World Wildlife Week is celebrated on the first week of... And so it's lots of little questions. If you get them right, you get to stay on your space. If you don't, you go back to your previous space. And it's the first person to the end of the game that wins. And my kids just love it. It's simple questions. Some of them are a bit challenging for younger children, but it's really good. It's good for the older kids because some of them are quite hard. But it's just a fun way to have a trivia-based game. So that's a Science Safari by Creatives. This is another little game. It's called Animals, Babies and Habitats. And it's a simple 3-piece puzzle, self-correcting puzzle. But it's kind of really helpful, especially for the kind of younger age group, just to cement what different animal babies are called, but also where they live. So the one I've got currently down here is penguin, pup and Arctic region. And you just put them together and you can work through them. So this is a series of game and it's called the Timeline series. Cardline is the same thing. It's just timeline relates to places in history and events in history. So the one that's showing there is science and discovery. So that's all about scientific discoveries and different science things like the invention of penicillin and x-rays and things like that. So Cardline Animals is, you play it in the same way. You get a certain amount of cards. So they would be lined up like this, where you just see the picture. And you place them in, this would be our starting card. And so we place out the tawny owl. And that goes in the start. And then the next card that I would want to place is going to be this razorbill. Now, I only see this side. And I have to decide which one is older or heavier or bigger. So often we play age. So I would go, I think that razorbill is going to live to be shorter than a tawny owl. And then, so we know that the tawny owl, we have this one flipped over, it lives to 18 years. And the razorbill, did I get it right? Lives to 19 years. So actually then you go that way. So then I'd have to lose that card and get a new card. And so the whole idea is just to think about how long different animals live for and or their weight, or just is that comparisons. And so some things are really interesting. The kids found really interesting which insects lived the longest, which things were the shortest. Big animals, sometimes they live a lot smaller than some of the other animals. So yeah, this is a really fun game. We really recommend the Timeline series. Cardline is in that series. It's just the animal version, and we love them. So this series of games is one of our absolute favourite. It's called Professor Noggin. We often include it in our morning basket or just after we've read a book about topics. We have quite a collection of different topics. So these are some of our science ones. We have other animals as well, ocean, birds, prehistoric mammals, safari, things like that, space. All science, but I just grabbed out 3 to show you a little bit of a basic. So, the game with Professor Nunkins, you get a card and it looks like this. And on the back is questions. And you roll the dice and it tells you you're going to ask question 3, which says scientists have developed a probe that can be sent to the centre of the Earth. And you say, is that true or false? And if they say false, then they'd keep the card. The person with the most cards wins. We love playing it. You can work, if you look at all these cards here, they're all the same format. Easy is good to start with, like at the beginning of a topic when you may not know a lot, and then we move on to hard. We do different children, so one of our boys loves this game and plays it heaps, so he's always on hard. And then if he can't get hard, we'll ask him the easy question. If he can't get either, then he doesn't get the card. But they're really fun. They have beautiful pictures on them, and they're just all about different things. So there's our science game collection. It's how we incorporate different things into our game schooling day. We don't always play games. It's not something we do every day. Most days, but not every day. So I do encourage you to try it. Even if it's just a game of Yahtzee or Monopoly or a pack of cards, to incorporate games. There's also heaps of print and play games you can find on the internet. Especially for homeschooling, bingos, maths games, Google games, and you'll find heaps of different things you can play. And all you need is a dice and counters. And that's a great way to start as well. So please like and subscribe, and you'll catch up with me with more videos later. Have a great day.